All right, so we're continuing this. Now, I want to say, when I was fairly young, they did one of the few worldwide tours of the treasures of the Tutankhamun, tomb that Howard Carter had pulled out. And it came to my city out here in LA, and fortunately my parents took me to see it, and it was spectacular. So I've long had a fascination with Egypt. But then throwing the Greek mix into it just really makes it a bit different. Okay. So that's some of the reasons why I'm fascinated by this. I keep coming back to and specifically I like Ptolemaic Egypt here. And I'm glad that they call it that now. Okay. Yes, well, we're not going to do our decisions right now. Okay, all of a sudden Ptolemy is under arrest. Is unrest in Ptolemy. We believe one of our neighbors is scheming against us, but which one? Okay, over here. Oh, there maybe. Okay, the governor had no choice but to crucify a few. No choice but to crucify a few religious agitators over here. Okay, guess that you just don't have choices like that. Travelers report appearance of Coptos, or near Coptos, of a serious plague. Okay, those are things that reduce our population levels, which we don't like. Our navy is, yes, we need to build up our navy. Now, fortunately, we've got the money situation under control, though we may not have the unrest situation under control. Let's take a look here. We were doing shuffles, right, because we only have 2 open slots left, and I'm just leery of filling them. Hello, Grognard. How you doing? We could put now, so I'm only planning on doing, though this wouldn't be a bad choice here, a shepherd's house in just 1 turn. But we can put up a monument, which will do 11 culture, though increase our decadence. We can do a crafter district, which will continue to fund the empire. Or we can do a training ground. These 3 don't take up a slot. Hey, Lancer. Good to have you here. And just those, I know we always have a few new people to the game. Field of Glory Empires is a classical era empire building we can see down here map. And I mean, it's a cool one, trust me, just generally speaking. But in many ways, it's a standard type game like this that we've seen before. But what this allows you to do, that if you have, and I just keep on mentioning this, oh, Grey Knight is here as well, and Tony First Gen, allows you to play the battles, if you have it, Field of Glory 2, the game, that it will actually close this game down, launch Field of Glory 2, with a battle based upon the sort of strategic level battles that you can then fight out, and then load them back into this game and continue playing. So that's the really sort of cool feature. I mean, everything is good with this, don't get me wrong in that sense, but that's what's the really cool sense with this. So don't know how much I'm worried about out here, because we already have armored hoplites somewhere else, or hoplites, however you prefer to pronounce that. So we're going to go with a crafter district, get that going out here. Well, there's not enough population there to do anything. We are going to build a secret cult building there, and a Theleme, not quite sure what, some sort of cultural building. Yes, I get that point, but beyond that, not terribly familiar. So you can see a lot of them have greens, because I do favor ones that don't take up already used slots. Now we're in 2 wars. Charcoal pile will draw wood into the region if in range. Well, very good. Now this is, this game, compared to a Paradox game that they have stopped developing, has a lot of buildings, and I'll tell you straight up with you, I am not terribly detailed in playing the economics of this game, but when you click on to build some of these buildings here. They will get different bonuses based upon different resources available. So it is a rich game in dealing with that. It is not simply, you know, have large farm, feed people. It's some of them will produce hides. You know, some of the cattle farms will produce hides, and then tanners will say use them to make leather. So there's a lot of economics involved in this. Yeah, and so I, to a point, you know, I do pay attention to, you know, some of that, but some of it is just sort of, quite honestly, on autopilot. Now, like I'll say, I'm very thankful that Slithering lets me stream here for them, but I will criticize a game here when I think it needs it. Like this here. Okay, they have a plague, which is going to reduce down their population, and they got a reduction in population because they were invaded by why am I blanking on this? The Nubians down here. They came up and invaded us, reduced our population. And so I can't build anything more here now. But what I also can't do, which I understand, I like the idea that population base is sort of affects how much, you know, industry buildings and cultural buildings and whatnot. You can't just go out to some desert place with almost nobody and start. I mean, we can build something here, but we're taking, you know, 35 turns for a hemp field. Okay, well, we'll do this. We have 0 buildings out of 1 possible slot, so maybe we'll get some food production, I should say, out of there someday. Totally agree with that. But it doesn't allow you to shuffle to see if there would be one of the ones that don't take up a building slot. So that's one of the things that I don't like about this game. Now, we're going to look here because we want a little bigger army to come after these guys. Metal. By the time in which we're getting near to the, you know, the time of the Roman Empire, Rome obviously exists. It's expanding out here, but even then, because I'm thinking in my mind, they have discovered massive industrial scale mines in Spain, probably this part of Spain, in which they leveled mountains, and I'm not really like talking hills, I'm talking mountains, that they were like boring some mine or some tunnels through it, and then like running water through it to collapse the situation, you know, the whole mountain structure, and then going in to, you know, because there's a lot of what in one term would be overburden to get to the minerals you want. But to go in there and, you know, once you get that sift through, whether it was gold or iron or whatever. So yeah, Rome is starting to do huge scale industrial capabilities. But metal, even with that, metal is still a limited resource. It is not a situation of like, hey, yeah, it doesn't matter. And so I like the idea here with this, to get this citizen hoplite here, that there is a cost in weapons, equipment, which we're making, metal, which we can see our overall metal here, and as well as money to pay, both pay to raise and train the unit and upkeep money. So that is a significant factor. And so we're looking at manpower, which we have plenty of, and we have plenty of equipment right now. And so I'm looking here, let's see, okay, so if we throw in something like that, and so next turn, and slightly cheaper. Let's do that. I don't want to go overboard on reducing an army down here, but we do have our other army here, which is getting some reinforcements. Now, how is our... okay, we have successfully gotten this port. Okay, so we can see the trade currently for this. Though this is... oh, well, this is now our territory, I guess. No. No, let's turn the trade off. That's what we're doing. Let's trade view off. No. Yeah, I don't play this as much as I... I'm in shortcut. Diplomacy. Look. This is right now looking at more our trade. Well, I think I'll probably come back next turn. But so we still need to get this castle, this siege here, I think. Or no, do we have it now? I guess we do have it now. Well, maybe we've gotten all this. Well, then very good. So when okay, so we've gotten this. I cancel create this. Unit queue is empty. Okay, so we actually know. So we've actually gotten this. This happened this last turn. We hadn't taken this city yet. So now, so farm building. So what we're going to do here is unrest. Food. Let's do that. Not very many people down there. Here. And you can manage a bit here what you want your population to be working on. Get these going. Now, okay. I do want to rebuild my navy. It's keep prompting me to do that, but I want to deal with particularly this war first. So we're going to let the turn end. Okay, so we are being invaded with one unit, well, Semitic rebels. And we have that, so we're just going to view battle. Don't know if we're going to export any battles today. We might. This is a sort of standard in game. You can see how it works here. So that's a pretty easy win. Okay, they're coming up north to attack us here. Yeah, we're going to view this. Now, we have a pretty big battlefield, which is good for us because we have a larger army. Sometimes if it's a mountainous province, it'd be very narrow. So if they have good quality troops but fewer, they can hold out or win or whatever potentially. Okay, so the range phase, we've weakened a lot of them. They're coming in. These elephants are a little weaker than I was hoping they would be. Now here they're getting flanked. So they'll die, and they're flanking even more, which is killing these guys in the back row. They're holding out, they're slightly stronger, but since they're cavalry, they're not necessarily killed because they can pursue or retreat, but now they're getting hammered. Okay, so we've decimated their force, so we can turn the tables on them and move. Next turn down. Retake some of our lost territory. And so this EA is going to run through all the different nations here. It'll show us any movements that would be directly dealing with us. Okay, so Semitic rebels revolting. Yeah, we saw that. Population in Coptos has decreased because of, well, possibly the invasion, but there's definitely the plague that was happening. Received a new regional decision, prospect for resources. Well, I'm going to let that go because I don't know that I want to spend stuff on that right now. Okay, yes, we know the Navy is small due to an aging token. Okay. So now that we have this force, it's pretty large. We're going to come down here, see about retaking our lost territory. Up here. No, army. I want the army. And we're going to merge. Well, no, let's. Yeah, either way. So now we have a decent army here. Who is this? Phoenicia, okay. We can cross. Yeah, I think I want to cross over to there. I want the Ptolemies for a long time owned Cyprus, and I just both out of a strategic position and they're potentially good uses. Okay. We're going to shuffle for maybe something better to come up. Been so many wars around this area, they've lost a lot of population. And see here where we have new buildings so that we know we can keep building. Okay, well, we have 2 open slots. And we particularly like, so like for the economy here, because this street parlor, cheap building that will help promulgate the common culture among your nation, right? So it gets money bonus from papyrus and culture also bonus from papyrus. So that is nice if we want to do it. Like I said, we've got our money under control. I'm not saying we wouldn't want more. I think we're going to do a shuffle anyways here. There, we can't do anything. And so in playing this game, I like to always keep at least 1 slot open for the possibility of shuffling. Now here we have, 6 slots open, so that it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we can do a street parlor. Copper works. Costs us money. Produces metal. Mercenary recruitment center will unlock. Yeah, I don't know that we need that. Warehouse. All resources are satisfied. There's 3 more population. Yeah, that's nice. Food. Okay, we got plenty of food right now. We could shift some of our. This increased infrastructure is nice. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase cultural level by doing that. Get rid of that. And I think we're going to increase people working on development. Okay, so getting food quickly would be nice. Shepherd's house, smokehouse, preserving food. Do we need more metal coming out? Well, metal production is pretty decent. I think we will go for a shepherd's house. That's fairly quick bonus to us. Okay, so we are now here starting to get closing in on a little, but so yes, charcoal pit. Yeah, we'll go with it. We'll go with a charcoal pile. Guess it's a pile and not a pit where you're burning charcoal. Charcoal, of course, is burned wood. Generally, we're somewhat deprived of oxygen, I believe. Somebody wants to give the details in chat, that'd be good. Papyrus culture bonus is nice, though, yeah. Will help lift Egypt out of the cellar, yeah. Okay, physician's health. We have a, fairly good situation here. We have, public health from sanitation and whatnot. Okay, well, we only have one slot left, so I'm going. That's for me as an auto shuffle. I guess I should just have noticed that. Till I get either more slots available through population growth, or we find one that allows increase without it. Right, okay, and what's going on out here? And food. Let's do a reshuffle. Maybe we can get it better than studs for some food out there. All right. Okay, so we've come in here. We've got a nice little battle. Again, we're probably going to overrun them. That last was particularly useful. Okay, their army was swept away. It'll teach you to come to war with the Ptolemaics. So we're right now an old monarchy. I'd prefer to be something like a stable monarchy. We disperse slaves. Don't worry about that at the moment. Yes, we know our navy is too small, elastic, and there's some foul play and underhanded actions conquered Galilee out here. Oh, here. Okay, damn. Well, our army's out here now. Moving to there. And we're going to face a big Antigonan army. Oh boy. Okay. Combat power 30. Combat power 28. Okay. Can we cancel that movement? How do we cancel a movement plane? Normally don't need to do this. I normally just move one turn's movement per. Oh, I don't want to rename it. Movement speed. Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, these are the overlays. Well, I guess we're tied to that, so we're moving in there, whether we like it or not. Now, down here, we have, this is giving the information about there, we unbreached walls 1 of 1. We're going to wait a bit on that. Right, so what we're going to do here is, because we're going to take some losses there, even if we win. Well, I'm going to start raising another army. That's going to cost a lot to get going, but I think it will be useful to have some proper phalanx, not just hoplites. Do we dare go for silver shields? They're 10 more per turn. They're awfully expensive. We can maybe wait on that. Companion cavalry, yes. Get some, just larger and some skirmishers. Because it does matter, flanking units does matter in this game. Alright, we did the shuffle last time, and now we've come up with two possible. But we want another training ground, not necessarily. We've got a lot of those. Culture. Increased culture will help, but it also increases decadence, so we'll go with that. We are building a courthouse here, and we have a lot of food, so let's see if we can speed this up, which will reduce our decadence levels. Okay, again, here we have plenty of building slots. And also, by having more food production, it allows us to move people away from agricultural health productivity to some other useful productivity levels. Yeah, we'll do that. And see, we can, by doing this, we're going to increase money in our culture. It'll pay for a lot of these developments that we're doing. We did the show. Oh, it's 10th, 1,000. Oh, wow. Okay. Even the shuffle is incredibly expensive turn-wise with nobody there. Here we did get, no, here we're getting a road built. Okay. No, it's not really worth it. What we should do is move these guys over here to try to increase food, which will hopefully increase population over time. I say hopefully because plagues, attacks, whatever may happen. Watch gamer make mistakes. I do that a lot. Okay, so we're going to hopefully this next turn breach the walls a bit. Okay, so we're going to view battle here. Okay, so we have a narrow front, which doesn't help us so much. It helps them, obviously. So we will range phase to our skirmishers go out and do good. They got hit hard. They did all right. They're gonna do all right. They getting hard. Gonna do okay. Our elephants there are actually gonna do good. Okay, they're pursuing us because we lost. Damn. Okay, well, yeah. We didn't lose too bad. And so we're now about back out to sea here, and we're gonna go home. Well, we're gonna go over here. Okay, message has arrived. We have war has taken a toll on the Antigonids and they are proposing peace. No, I don't need peace with them. Our nation is becoming decadent. Okay, right. Decadence, progress, a lot of decadence coming in. And like I say, well, let's look through some of these more. Yeah, forced march. Our navy, yes, we know the navy isn't very good. Has received an aging token. We now have 5, so that's not doing so great. We're gonna move even. We're gonna max out in here, trying to get this courthouse. The courthouse decadence reduction 0.4. Oh, so that is one of the things I am counting on to help things. Okay, okay, you go that way. You guys go this way. Fall back to there. Okay, got plenty of free slots. We'll do a herbalist, which will give us a little more manpower, a little more health. Not take too long. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, so right now I want to avoid anything with decadence as a well, no, this does not do more decadence, but helps culture levels. Palisades. We're going to do a shuffle, I think. There. Area which will help with stone, but will already be imported. We already have an anchorage. I'm not liking any of these either. It's sort of both nice and frustrating at the same time. Okay, we did not manage to inflict any casualties. Unbreached walls. Okay, well, I'm going to let this go a little longer. Yes. We have the aging token. Make sure everywhere that should be building something is building something. Okay, well, it's good that we're getting a couple of high quality units coming in. We will keep pushing down into here. Because of course the goal is to reunite Alexander's empire and more. Okay, peace treaty between Macedonia. Treaty of peace has ended. Right, okay. So we know that our soldiers are starving. Yes, we're there. They're heading back to here right now. We don't want them to starve. They're coming back here. Good. Merge with these guys. There we go. They'll get some health back, or get unit back now that they're no longer starving at sea. Okay. Interlopers. Too many stored. Right, we need a better Neat. Okay, guys. Down here, unbreached walls. Well, have fun storming the castle, boys. We're gonna storm them insult down here because I don't want to keep waiting for possible results. Again, things that reduce or at least don't contribute to decadence. Fortune tellers. We don't have drugs or herbs, but we get a little bit, but not much out of that. Manpower. Yeah, I guess we'll go with the harbor there. Up here. Salt mine. We already have some salt mines. I think a simple palisade will help keep our internal areas in better situation. Okay, well, let's go with that. Right, herbalist. We already have a fair amount of like clear water, sanitation for health. Get them over to there. Okay, now here, definitely, because another decadence reduction option here, so we're going to do that. We have, I think, enough food, so let's try to focus more labor on infrastructure here or military productivity to help get things built. Tavern. Okay. Oh, this is decadence increase, so we're not going to do that now. Okay, we're going to do another shuffle there. And so you can't purely min-max out every province because there's a lot of options to build. It's only give you a few at a time. Which, like I say, can be interesting, also a bit frustrating, but life is that way. And if all these games were just purely, oh good, our assault looks like it worked out. Okay, so we got this back. We don't have much in the ways of food. Don't think I need you working on culture. Try to get our limited population to get our roads back into shape here. And we're going to come down to here to face off them directly. Okay. Trouble's up here, yes. Now. Trouble's out there. Okay. Armies conquered the region. Right. Galilee. Okay. Taking it from the Antigonids back. Good. Despite local defenders, Syria was raided by. Yes, they're raiding us. Yes, they're raiding us. Right. Merge here. Merge here. There we go. These guys are still somewhat weak. They're going to get better over time, and we're just going to let them sit there because I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. I am actually trying to learn from my mistakes. And you can learn from my mistakes too, of course. Probably better than I can. Yeah, in decadence increase, so no way, but even if we wanted to. That gets us 5 food. This gets us 5 food, but 8 health. And the 2 down on infrastructure, which is here. Yeah, we'll go with that. We did the shuffle there last turn. Okay, so we get bonuses from leather, clothing manufacturing there. Well, I think we'll do that. So we have our roads, or what they call public works, but it speeds up movement. We definitely don't want that, for not only takes a long time to get built. Ranch, let's see if we can get something quicker to build. A simpler option. Right, okay, so we have city walls and guard towers out here. They're on our frontier. And they're losing pretty badly in their little war out there. Okay, not too much decadence. Okay, reduce decadence by 0.40. Preceptor's house. That looks good. And again, I'm going to see about doing that to keep hopefully enough food, but increase build speed. Yeah, we're doing a rotation. Okay, down here. Well, it's mostly quite well. This might be a good battle to do. Export to, but just time wise. Yeah, like, you know, I could be playing out a lot more of these, especially that Cyprus battle would have probably been a better one to play out in Fields of Glory 2, but just time-wise for this playthrough here. Now, it looks like they've got palace guards that look sort of like imitation Roman legionnaires. We'll see how this goes here. Okay, they've all got exhausted. They didn't do so well. Ours are a little better. A lot better off here. Yeah, but since they're skirmishers, they're okay, but we're getting flanked, so they're doing that. Okay, stalemate. Okay, so only the palace guards were able to survive and presumably retreat. Yeah, because this had been conquered territory, so we got it straight back. We're here, we're just now occupying. We've got a lot of places to sort of look at. That's their new capital, is it? Okay, we're just going to move one forward. Here. Right, victory. Yes. Although, okay, has degraded to good, had been excellent, I believe. Persistent pestilence near Thebes. Leads to serious epidemic. Yes, our navy is weak. Okay, aging token. So we're not doing well in the aging token situation. Sweet parlor. Nice money, nice culture, no decadence. Harbor, but we don't have many slots, so I'm going to do a shuffle here. It's like we can see a plague or an epidemic may hit and reduce our population, which means lowering our slots. Like here, we're facing that. No, I've clicked a lot of these already. Now, what is the state of our... You can partially tell the state of the army just from the banners. I think we're going to give it one more turn to get these guys back to full effective. This before trying that again. Here. Well, we have irrigation system. We have sanitation, which definitely helps the health. Our house is now, except because of the plague here. Okay, well. Okay, another quick battle here. Yes, just overrunning. So these we could export out, but there's no point to it. These guys will get flanked and destroyed. Well, not just yet. Be even harder. So, chat, what is your favorite classical era country, culture, group, however you want? Emissary arrived, reached us with a proposal of peace. We don't care. Suffered severely from lack of supply. That's down here. Okay. Revolting troubles up there. So what is it, guys? Please post. Who are you most interested in? Who are you? New decision. Merchant and purchaser spend money to acquire. We could sell 300 metal for 500 money, or we could sell 300 metal for more citizens. And we're going to do that. We got a lot of metal. Use a bit more population. Well, I mean, just anytime, anything. What's your interest is? Oof, that's a tough one. Can't help but enjoying Bosporan Kingdom. Okay. In the games like Imperator Rome, in this game, Judea is always an interesting challenge. Yeah, well, I mean, just as a historical thing, yeah, Judea would be an interesting challenge for this game, for sure. And up here in the Bosporan Kingdom up here. But I'm just talking just in in history and studying, whether presumably you would want to play it, but just in what's going on. Yes, we know about the Navy, yes. Okay, aging token is now standing. Okay, we received an aging token is now standing at 2 tokens. Okay, right. Bottom tier decadent status. We're a decadent monarchy. We want to get out of this, preferably. All that's going on in Afghan playing as Bactria is pretty mad. Yes. Bactria, which looks like it's been conquered here. Yeah. Bactria is an interesting kingdom. And the Afghan question is interesting too. There are a lot of archaeological and some historical references that Bactria was at least the ruling culture, shall we say, was a Hellenistic culture. But I don't think the majority of the population was Hellenistic. I'm sure they were influenced by it, but they have like mosaics they found, floors and whatever, of dolphins. And probably most of the people there never had seen a dolphin. Where if you're, living around Greece, yeah, so many of those people are, near cultural or no, coastal, that, seeing dolphins at play probably wasn't that hard of a thing to do. Not maybe most people had seen one, but a fair number, and of course fishermen and whatnot are likely to have seen them. Whether they would see them commonly, daily, or something like that, or whether it would be a rare occurrence, I don't know, in the Aegean at the time. But obviously out here in Bactria, sure, a few rare, extremely rare travelers might have seen one, but even the overwhelming elites would never have seen them. But the artistic work does. So that tells us about Roman Empire, 753 Galaxy Conquest. Very good. It's crazy that the Greeks were all that way there, yes. And so my understanding is when Alexander's army shows up out there in Bactria region, there was already a Greek presence. And that was mostly from losers in wars with the Persians. The Persian monarchy liked to divide and rule. So often, what do you do? And I've talked about this before. What do you do with losers in wars in this time period? Mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream, yeah, metal is sort of a rare thing, but getting, a few metal arrowheads, which, by this time that's, I think, the majority of things. I don't think they're really using flint arrowheads. I'm not talking primitive tribes people somewhere. I'm talking, some semi-developed cultures around here using metal arrowheads. But trust me, a sharp and pointy wooden stick arrow with no metal arrowhead will penetrate into you and do you severe damage. And metal spear points, yeah, so you need some metal, but creating weapons is pretty easy. So if you defeat an army and then you let those people go, if they don't like the conditions of their defeat, they can be back at you in a year, 6 months, 2-3 years. So what do you do with a captured army? And you got to remember, most armies that are significantly, not necessarily, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but one Greek city-state marching 2 valleys over to fight another Greek city-state, that's a different situation. But most large armies moving around, there's going to have a significant number of women and children following with them in the baggage train, if nothing else. And so if we look at that, what do you do? Well, you can let them go. May not be a good option. You can kill them all. Well, and if you do that, then the next time... are we still streaming here live? I'm going to hit refresh here. For some reason, maybe we are. Took like 50k army, and yes. Good, so... Yep, okay, good. For some reason, it's froze for me. It's my OBS says it's streaming good, but I just froze the feed. Thank you. So, yes, and like Mike is saying, 50,000 man army and 100,000 followers. Yes, that or 35. Yeah, 30. Yeah, that definitely is that type of thing going on. Now he, of course, his army was a bit different, but you can look at even something like Xenophon's army. I mean, that he ends up leading at home, but he is not part of the originally high-level officer class. The March of the 10,000, Anabasis. If you've read that, fascinating. That might not been, the Greek contingent might not been that huge of a camp followers at the start of it, but they definitely picked up camp followers on their way home, of various types I won't go into here, but so you have a lot of women with them as well. And so you can let them go, probably a bad choice. You can kill them all, but the next time you come into another army situation, and if they really think they're all going to die, they're not going to surrender so easily. Even if they know they're going to lose, they're still going to cost you the valuable death of your soldiers. And a professional soldier is a very valuable thing, especially in the pre-gunpowder age. Gunpowder makes soldiering easy to do. Or you can take them as slaves. That's basically what Rome's often doing. And often taking other inhabitants as slaves too, conquered peoples. Well, the Persian Empire definitely did that kind of thing, but they also, I don't know if slave would be the right status. It might sort of in the vague sense be, but they would often take possibly from, citizens from a, because a lot of these regions along the coast were Greek city-states, but also the armies that they captured, including generals, and move them east, very far east, and establish, whether you want to call them towns or cities, obviously depends on your sort of definition and how you want to use it, out here. And I think once they're out here, these are not quite slave armies, if you will, in the sense that, just because they command, you will do even if you die kind of thing. I don't think it's quite that extreme, but it's like, well, you can't go home, you can't go back to Greece. You're out here, you're sort of in a minority situation of several different categories. And so helping your overlord, the Persians, this is currently the Seleucids, which are descendants of one of Alexander the Great's generals, but earlier, helping them maintain their control helps you maintain your status and being not overrun by the local population, so you're relatively ready to fight for them in maintaining his control, even, and I don't know whether they were often used part of, forming large armies to go bash on their neighbors, or just simply a loyalist defensive militia. Either way, it is useful for them. And, You know, so Alexander's army encounters these communities as they come out, and these communities are quite pleased that Alexander shows up. And so that is part of the Bactrians, and Bactrians to a point are a Seleucid's puppets, for at least for a while. Out here, and they set up ransom, enslave, assimilate, annihilate. Yep, that's some of the methods being used. All right, let's see here now. Forget what we had been building. Okay, so we could do decadence increase. So no, so we're not going to do this because we are at decadence increase. No. I will reshuffle before I decide to increase decadence at this point. Well, 7 or 7. Food, more health. We're going to go with a more health and food. Okay, well, we're having a lot of people in food production, so we're going to increase our food, but also reduce our labor in food elements. Okay, we're trying to push this through as fast as possible. We have enough food right now, so we're going to continue with that there. We did a shuffle last term, that's why it's white or clear, however you want to say that as a background. But again, we really don't, well, we could do a training field. 4 turns, but it's reducing money. Well, we've built up our army a lot. Well, we're going to shuffle. I don't want to add to our expenses right now for that. All right, okay, so we've conquered down here. Well, let's look. Yeah, this looks like it'll have more food for us, so we're a little bit worried about food for our army. Now, here. Better off. I think I want to go for that. Well, we might as well risk our fleet too to help that out. There's not enough population to keep this in production. Effectively, what's going on out here, right? Let's raise a couple of cheap units like that. Actually, one more than a couple, but yeah. Turn. There we go. Okay, yeah, we'll view the battle, or the slaughter as it were. We come in flanking attack, take them out even if... The question is how big do I want to grow the empire down here? Because that's part of the problem with growing slave market, buy, sell, or displace slaves. Do we want to do this? Buy slaves from the slave. Using this option, we will disperse up to 10 slave populations from regions with at least 3 slaves to other regions having few slaves. Each slave market can redistribute 1 slave per population, but the slave doesn't need to be in the region of the... Okay, we'll do that. Richardson. No. Right. Okay, what's then? Now that there are options for armies per se for particularly stubborn populations, Rome employed mass deportation. For example, some Ligurian tribes on the map, the land around Genoa, that were moved to Semunu and Apulia. Is Bactria good to play in this? Well, I don't know. I haven't played it. Okay, Mike says challenging. And so up around here, yeah. And then I can tell, and I've known from Van Bishop's earlier, he is quite familiar with the various histories, more detailed, with the growth of Rome and the various cultures. We can see here the sort of conquered Etruscans there, which I know a little bit about, but not much. Okay. An invasion. Oh, lovely. That's what we wanted. Regional district, yeah, okay, been removed. Receive the new regional, motivate troops. Our navy is only a shadow. Yes, okay. Yep, I know, no food. We're coming in. Hopefully we'll come in and be able to deal with this.